Earth's atmosphere, with its dense air, high gravity, and oxygen-rich environment, is unlike any other in the galaxy. For millions of years, life on Earth evolved under these harsh yet seemingly ordinary conditions. To the humans who grew up on the planet, this was the natural state of things. They didn't question the strength they gained from gravity's pull or the endurance their bodies developed from processing the rich oxygen. But from the perspective of outsiders, Earth was far from ordinary. It was a crucible, and the humans it produced were its hardened steel. When aliens first visited Earth, they were struck by how hostile the planet seemed. Its gravity was much stronger than most other habitable worlds, its atmosphere heavy and thick, the air buzzing with energy. To species that had evolved on lighter, less demanding planets, Earth was an anomaly. They assumed the inhabitants of such a planet would be small, weak, and vulnerable. How could anyone survive, let alone thrive, in such an oppressive environment? The truth of humanity's adaptation, however, was far more complex than the aliens had anticipated. Earth had not just fostered survival, it had crafted warriors. Humans had evolved not in spite of Earth's atmospheric challenges but because of them. While the alien visitors struggled to adjust to the pressure, the temperature, and even the gravity, humans walked the planet with ease, unaware of just how exceptional they had become. The first time an alien observer saw a human soldier in action, they were stunned. The soldier, a member of Earth's standard military, was performing what, to humans, was a routine drill. Carrying heavy packs, they moved at high speeds across uneven terrain, leaping over obstacles that would have crushed bones in any other species. The soldier wasn't even pushing themselves to the limit, yet they moved with a precision and agility that left the aliens in awe. It wasn't just that the humans were stronger. Their bodies seemed designed to excel in this demanding environment. The realization struck hard. Earth had bred a species that could outpace, outlift, and outlast any other in the galaxy. What humanity took for granted, the ability to run for miles, to lift heavy objects, to endure long periods of physical exertion, was something no other species could match. Their muscles, bones, and organs had all been finely tuned by Earth's atmosphere over centuries, crafting beings with unparalleled strength and stamina. As the aliens continued their observation, they became more fascinated, and then more fearful. These humans, who appeared so unassuming on the surface, were capable of feats that bordered on the superhuman. What was once thought to be a weakness, Earth's high gravity and dense atmosphere, had turned out to be humanity's greatest asset. Earth had created not just a sentient species but a race of warriors, each individual forged by the planet's unique conditions to endure and overcome challenges that would destroy others. The aliens had vastly underestimated humanity. They had assumed that, because Earth was a smaller player in the galactic scene, it posed no real threat. But now, they were seeing things differently. Earth's atmosphere wasn't a disadvantage for the humans, it was their greatest strength. Every human soldier they watched seemed faster, stronger, and more resilient than any alien warrior they had ever encountered. These superhuman abilities didn't develop overnight. For centuries, humans had been tested by Earth's harsh climate, its powerful storms, and the vast array of predators that once roamed the planet. Every challenge pushed the species to adapt, and in doing so, they became something more. Human endurance was legendary, even among their own kind. While aliens from other planets would struggle in Earth's gravity or feel suffocated by the thickness of the air, humans were thriving, becoming more efficient with every generation. For the aliens, witnessing this transformation was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Earth was producing warriors that no other planet could. It wasn't just about the technology or the weapons they wielded, it was about their bodies, their natural-born advantage. They realized that, in a galaxy filled with countless species and civilizations, humans were the anomaly, a product of their environment in a way that made them superior. The more the aliens studied human capabilities, the more they began to see the potential danger. Humans had a strength that went beyond physical prowess. They possessed a mental resilience that allowed them to push through pain and exhaustion. When an alien soldier would retreat, a human would press on. When others would collapse under pressure, humans would rise and continue. This determination, paired with their physical advantages, made humans a formidable force in any confrontation. What had once seemed like a backwater planet in a quiet corner of the galaxy was now the focal point of intense interest. Earth, with its strange atmosphere and its even stranger inhabitants, was no longer an afterthought. The galaxy's attention was shifting, and the realization was setting in that the humans were different. Not only were they surviving in an environment that would cripple most other species, but they were thriving, evolving into something that no other civilization could match. It wasn't just a matter of strength or speed. Humans were adaptable in a way that no other species had been. Their evolution on Earth had prepared them for any environment, any challenge. The very air they breathed, the gravity that weighed them down, had made them what they were, warriors forged in the most unforgiving conditions the galaxy had ever seen. For the first time, the aliens saw humans not as a curiosity but as a potential threat. They realized that Earth, far from being an inhospitable rock in space, was the perfect training ground for an army unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Every human soldier was a product of their planet's unique environment, their bodies honed by its challenges, their minds sharpened by its hardships. The twist was undeniable. Earth's atmosphere didn't just create survivors, it forged warriors. What humans had once considered to be everyday life was, in reality, the ultimate training regimen. The air they breathed, the gravity they moved under, the climate they endured, all of it had shaped them into something extraordinary. In the eyes of the galaxy, Earth was no longer just a planet, it was a crucible that had crafted one of the deadliest species the universe had ever known. With the realization of their newfound strength, humanity quickly turned to organizing these natural gifts into something more strategic. The Earth's military, always an institution of resilience and discipline, adapted swiftly. What had once been a conventional force now began its transformation into an army of superhumans. No longer limited by the natural barriers that had once constrained them, humanity now focused on maximizing the full potential of their environment. Training in Earth's gravity became a key factor in turning ordinary soldiers into superhuman warriors. These specialized units were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each soldier, having been conditioned by Earth's atmosphere, now underwent even more rigorous training in environments designed to push them to their absolute limits. High-gravity simulations, low-oxygen drills, and endurance tests in extreme temperatures were standard practice. What these exercises revealed was astounding. Humans could not only survive but thrive in conditions that would kill any alien soldier within minutes. It was clear that Earth's military had evolved into something beyond the rest of the galaxy's comprehension. What they lacked in numbers, they more than made up for in sheer physical and mental superiority. The most impressive division to emerge from this transformation was the Paratrooper Corps. These soldiers could drop from unimaginable heights without the need for extensive support systems. While alien soldiers required complex exoskeletons and anti-gravity suits to survive planetary landings, Earth's superhuman paratroopers needed nothing more than their own reinforced bodies. They could land on any terrain, under any condition, and immediately begin combat operations. This ability alone set them apart, but it was only the tip of the iceberg when it came to their capabilities. Technology quickly became intertwined with these superhuman abilities. Earth's engineers, aware of the advantages their soldiers possessed, began designing new weapons and gears specifically tailored to their enhanced physicality. Exosuits that amplified strength, weapons that required more force to handle, and tactical gear built to withstand the pressures of Earth's gravity became standard issue. But it wasn't just about brute strength. Human soldiers also gained the ability to utilize advanced targeting systems that synced with their heightened reflexes, making them far deadlier in combat than their alien counterparts. At the heart of this transformation were figures like Commander Reyes, a seasoned leader who had seen the potential of Earth's military from the beginning. His approach to warfare was pragmatic, leveraging the superhuman capabilities of his soldiers in ways that alien generals could never anticipate. Reyes understood that the key to success was not just in raw power but in using that power strategically. His tactics involved quick, overwhelming strikes, taking advantage of the fact that his soldiers could move faster, hit harder, and endure more than any force they encountered. Captain Aisha Patel, another central figure in this evolution, became a symbol of what the new Earth military represented. She was the first woman to complete the Earth's gravity-enhanced military program, known for her unmatched endurance. Her achievements went beyond just physical feats. Patel's leadership on the battlefield inspired those around her, showing that even in the harshest conditions, humans had an unbreakable spirit. Her unit was often deployed in the most hostile environments, where other species would falter, but she led her soldiers through every challenge with determination and resilience. Then there was Private Jonas, who represented the raw potential of humanity's superhuman army. He had been an ordinary human before joining the military, but through the rigorous training program, he became capable of feats beyond belief. He was a reminder that even those who seemed unremarkable could be molded into warriors capable of standing against the most elite alien forces. Jonas embodied the idea that Earth's environment, combined with human tenacity, could turn anyone into a soldier of unparalleled strength and skill. As Earth's armies continued to grow in power, tensions began to rise among their alien allies. At first, the alliances between humans and other species had been based on mutual need, each bringing something unique to the table. But as humanity's abilities became more apparent, those alliances started to strain. Alien commanders who had once viewed humans as equals now found themselves in uncomfortable territory. They watched as Earth's forces became stronger and more capable than any of their own. It was no longer a partnership of equals. Humanity was becoming something more powerful, something that didn't need their support. This shift created a growing sense of unease among the galaxy's political and military leaders. Some alien factions began to openly express concern about the future of their alliances with Earth. They had initially welcomed humanity into the galactic fold, but now they feared what humans might become. These concerns were not without merit. The humans, once dependent on alien technology and knowledge, were now creating innovations of their own, surpassing what their allies could offer. Earth was no longer the underdog. It was rising to a dominant position, and that shift was beginning to destabilize the carefully constructed balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity, for its part, remained focused on its own survival and growth. The leaders of Earth's military understood the importance of maintaining their alliances, but they also knew that their greatest strength came from within. The very atmosphere of Earth had forged them into something unstoppable, and they were now beginning to realize that the allies they had once needed for survival might soon fear them. It wasn't a question of if the galaxy would turn against them, but when. This realization only strengthened Earth's resolve to continue building its superhuman armies. Each new recruit brought into the program was another step towards securing humanity's place in the galaxy. Earth was no longer just a planet of survivors. It was becoming the birthplace of a force that could rival any power in the universe. The military leadership, from Commander Reyes to Captain Patel, understood that their future depended not on maintaining the old alliances, but on preparing for the day when they would stand alone. The alien allies, once confident in their superiority, now began to see Earth's armies in a different light. What had once been a source of curiosity had become a source of fear. The galaxy was shifting, and humanity was at the center of that change. Earth's superhuman soldiers, molded by the unique conditions of their planet, were growing into an unstoppable force. The very traits that had once made them seem fragile were now the reasons they were feared. Humanity's armies were no longer just defending their planet. They were shaping the future of the galaxy, and everyone knew it. The Galactic Council had long monitored Earth's growth, observing humanity's advancements with a mix of curiosity and condescension. When the Draer, a warlike alien race known for their ruthless conquests, launched an invasion on one of Earth's newly established colonies, the Council hesitated to intervene. They didn't think humanity had the strength to stand against the Draer. Why would they? Humanity, after all, was still relatively new to the galactic stage. The Council's calculations were simple. Earth was too fragile to survive the Draer onslaught, and any attempt to intervene would be a waste of resources. So they stood back, waiting to see how this small, seemingly insignificant species would react to its first true galactic conflict. But humanity didn't wait for permission or support. The colony under attack was one of their own, and the humans on Earth knew they couldn't afford to look weak in the eyes of the galaxy. Instead of pleading for help, Earth made the decision to fight back, determined to prove they could handle this on their own terms. They had prepared for this moment. Their training, their evolution, all of it had led to this inevitable confrontation. The Draer would not be the ones to define humanity's fate. Humans would decide for themselves. Earth's response came swiftly. The first Superhuman battalion was deployed to the conflict zone, and the galaxy held its breath. The Draer forces, confident in their superiority, expected an easy victory. They had crushed countless other species in similar conflicts, and to them, humans were just another weak prey. But they were about to encounter something far different from what they had faced before. The superhuman soldiers, conditioned by Earth's harsh environment, landed on the battlefield with the precision of a well-oiled machine. Their arrival wasn't marked by the need for complex landing crafts or protective gear. Instead, they dropped from high altitudes without any parachutes, crashing into the terrain below and rising unscathed, ready for battle. This alone sent shockwaves through the Draer ranks. How could they survive such conditions? How could they still fight? The human soldiers moved with an unmatched speed and strength, their enhanced reflexes allowing them to outmaneuver the Draer's cumbersome warriors. In close combat, where alien soldiers once dominated, the humans turned the tide with ease. They could endure more, fight longer, and adapt faster than their alien opponents. The Draer soon found themselves overwhelmed by these soldiers who seemed to thrive in the chaos of battle. Draer commanders, watching the devastation unfold, were taken aback. Their weapons, which had crushed so many before, were ineffective against these superhuman soldiers. Human troops shrugged off what should have been fatal blows, and their counterattacks were swift and brutal. It wasn't just their physical prowess that won the day, but their ability to use tactics that no other species could even consider. Human soldiers took advantage of their ability to survive in low-oxygen environments, outlasting their alien counterparts in prolonged engagements. While the Draer struggled with their breathing apparatuses and complex gear, human troops needed none of that. They moved with ease in areas where others could barely stand, exploiting their natural ability to endure harsher conditions. Human sharpshooters, utilizing advanced targeting systems, fired with a level of precision that left the Draer helpless. Each shot was lethal, each movement calculated to perfection. The Draer, who had expected to overwhelm the human forces with sheer numbers and brute force, found themselves being picked apart by these soldiers who moved like shadows. Human artillery teams set up in record time, their precision-guided munitions striking with deadly accuracy, turning the battlefield into a chaotic mess for the Draer forces. Word spread quickly across the battlefield that these humans were unlike any enemy the Draer had ever faced. The fear spread even faster. Alien troops, who had been conditioned to believe they were superior, found themselves retreating, panicking in the face of this new kind of warfare. The Draer, so accustomed to being the hunters, were now the hunted. As the battle raged on, other alien factions watching from afar were stunned. The Draer had always been a force to be reckoned with, yet here they were, being systematically dismantled by a species the Galactic community had barely taken seriously. The fear that spread among the Draer troops soon made its way into the minds of the entire galaxy. Reports of the human soldiers' abilities, strength, speed, endurance, circulated quickly, and the phrase, superhuman, began to carry weight. The name of Earth's armies, once considered insignificant, was now synonymous with terror. Alien commanders, who had once dismissed humans as weak, were now questioning their own defenses. If the Draer, one of the most feared races in the galaxy, could be defeated by humans, what hope did they have if Earth ever turned its attention their way? Back on the battlefield, the Draer forces attempted to regroup, but the damage had been done. Their confidence was shattered, and their soldiers were demoralized. Human soldiers, with their relentless endurance and superior tactics, pressed forward, driving the Draer back. The aliens, no longer willing to face these superhuman warriors head-on, began their retreat. The Draer's withdrawal from the conflict zone was swift, but not without consequence. As they pulled back, they issued a warning to the rest of the galaxy. Humanity was no longer just another species. They were a threat, perhaps the greatest one the galaxy had ever seen. The Draer, once thought to be invincible, had been bested by a race they had underestimated. The retreat was a victory for Earth, but it was also a signal to the galaxy. Humanity, once seen as fragile and insignificant, had proven themselves to be something much more. They had not only defended their colony but had done so in a way that sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Word of the battle spread far and wide, and the rest of the galactic community now viewed Earth's armies with a newfound respect and fear. In the aftermath of the battle, the Draer were left to lick their wounds, but their warning remained clear. Humanity, molded by the unique conditions of their planet, had become a formidable force. They were no longer the underdogs. The galaxy would need to reconsider its stance on Earth and its people. What the Draer had learned the hard way was now apparent to everyone. Humans were not to be underestimated. As the dust settled, the Draer's retreat left a lasting impact on the galactic balance of power. The rest of the galaxy, having witnessed humanity's first galactic conflict, now understood that Earth's armies were more than just soldiers. They were warriors, bred in an atmosphere that had turned them into something beyond what any alien race could imagine. What humanity had become was not just a military force, but a symbol of the strength that lay within their species. Earth was no longer the weak link in the galaxy. It had become a power to be reckoned with, and everyone knew it. The Galactic Council was at a crossroads. What had started as an alliance of equals was now becoming something far more precarious. Earth, once viewed as a rising power but still within the Council's grasp, was no longer an equal partner. Its armies, forged in the dense atmosphere and heavy gravity of their homeworld, had proven themselves in battle after battle, pushing the limits of what the Council had considered possible. Some factions within the Council began to see Earth not as a partner but as a growing threat, one that, if left unchecked, could dominate the galaxy. Others argued for restraint, warning that an open confrontation with humanity could lead to devastating consequences. Divisions deepened as debates raged across the council chambers. The most hawkish members called for immediate action to destroy Earth before it could become too powerful. They feared what the humans might do if their influence continued to grow unchecked. The more cautious factions, however, recognized the futility of such an approach. Earth's armies had already proven their superiority on the battlefield, and a direct assault could spell disaster for the Council's forces. They suggested forming an alliance, hoping to integrate humanity's strength into their own strategies, but the fear of humanity's potential was impossible to ignore. The galaxy was at a tipping point, and the decision to act could no longer be delayed. The Council's solution was brutal in its simplicity. A coalition of the galaxy's largest military forces would be assembled, an overwhelming display of might designed to crush Earth before it could rise any further. Every major power in the galaxy contributed to the effort. Fleets of warships, battalions of elite soldiers, and the most advanced technologies were all marshaled with one goal in mind: the subjugation of Earth. The message was clear: Earth had grown too powerful, and now the galaxy would act to bring them back into line. But humanity was not caught off guard. They had been preparing for this moment since the first Draer invasion. The moment they realized the galaxy feared them, they knew that a confrontation was inevitable. Earth's leaders, both political and military, understood that they could not afford to lose this battle. Their survival, their place in the galaxy, depended on proving once and for all that they were not just another species to be controlled or destroyed. They had to show that Earth's armies were not simply strong, they were unstoppable. As the coalition forces descended upon Earth, the final showdown began. The skies above the planet darkened with the sheer number of ships, and the surface was soon filled with the sound of incoming soldiers. The largest military force ever assembled in galactic history was now facing Earth's superhuman armies. But what the galaxy had not anticipated was the extent to which humanity had evolved, not just physically but tactically. Earth's soldiers, honed by their environment and their relentless training, were more than ready to face this challenge. The human forces fought with a combination of raw power and tactical brilliance that stunned their opponents. They used the unique advantages of Earth's atmosphere and gravity to their full potential, fighting in ways that no other species could. Soldiers leapt from high altitudes, moving with an agility that left their alien opponents reeling. They fought in low-oxygen environments, thriving where others faltered. Weapons designed for human physiology, combined with their enhanced reflexes and strength, tore through the ranks of the coalition forces. In the midst of the chaos, Commander Reyes led his troops with unwavering focus. Every decision he made on the battlefield was calculated to exploit the weaknesses of the coalition forces. He anticipated their every move, using the humans' superior adaptability to outmaneuver and outfight them. Under his leadership, what should have been a one-sided slaughter turned into a brutal, grinding fight in which Earth's armies held their own, despite being outnumbered. Captain Aisha Patel, already a legend among her peers, pushed herself beyond anything she had achieved before. In the thick of the fighting, she performed feats of strength and endurance that left even her fellow soldiers in awe. Her unit, tasked with holding a critical position, was faced with impossible odds. Yet, she refused to retreat. Her leadership and unyielding determination inspired those around her, driving them to fight harder, longer, and more ferociously than anyone had expected. Alien commanders watching from afar could only marvel at the sheer resilience of the human forces. Private Jonas, once an ordinary recruit, became the embodiment of what humanity had become. In the heat of battle, he faced down elite alien warriors, soldiers who had trained their entire lives for combat. But Jonas, like so many of his fellow humans, had been shaped by Earth's unforgiving environment. He fought with a strength that defied explanation, taking down opponents with a precision and ferocity that no alien soldier could match. His actions were not just a display of personal skill, they were a testament to the power of humanity's evolution. As the battle dragged on, it became clear that the coalition forces had severely underestimated their enemy. They had assumed that sheer numbers and technological superiority would win the day. But they hadn't accounted for the human spirit, the drive to survive, and the willingness to fight for their home. What they had seen as humanity's arrogance was now revealed to be something far more dangerous, a belief in their own strength, one that had been forged in the fires of Earth's atmosphere. The tide of the battle shifted, and soon the coalition forces were in retreat. Earth's superhuman armies had proven to be more than a match for the galaxy's greatest warriors. The victory came at a cost, with many human lives lost, but the message was undeniable. Earth was no longer a weak, backwater planet. It had emerged as a superpower, one that could not be ignored or underestimated. In the aftermath of the battle, the galaxy was forced to reckon with what humanity had become. Fear and respect for Earth's armies grew, but so did the isolation. The other species in the galaxy, once willing to collaborate with humans, now kept their distance, wary of what Earth might become. Humanity had won the war, but it had also made enemies. The fear that had driven the coalition to act in the first place had only grown stronger. For humanity, the victory was bittersweet. They had proven themselves on the galactic stage, but at a cost. The galaxy now saw them as a threat, a force to be feared. Earth's armies, shaped by the planet's unique conditions, had become something beyond what anyone could have imagined. The humans, once underestimated, were now recognized as a superpower in their own right. But with this recognition came a new reality. The future of humanity was uncertain. They had secured their place in the galaxy, but they had also set themselves apart. As the galaxy watched and waited, humanity stood at a crossroads. The atmosphere that had shaped them, that had turned them into something extraordinary, was both their greatest strength and their greatest burden. And now, the rest of the galaxy knew it too.